On September 3rd, 2025, the Tiananmen Square in Beijing once again becomes the stage of global attention. What may look like a ceremony display of uniforms, of machineries, in truth, is a carefully expressed statement. It's a statement about history, about strength, and above all, it's a statement about China's place in a fractured world. This is not simply a parade. It's the embodiment of Beijing's strategic message to its neighbors and to its rivals. This occasion carries multiple layers of meanings. Officially, it marks the 80th anniversary of China's victory in the war of resistance against Japan. And it's the 75th anniversary of the victory in the Korean War. Symbolically, it ties China's modern strength to two of the most consequential conflicts in the 20th century. It's the wars that define China's sovereignty, resilience, and national survival. The event itself has been tremendously designed. 70 minutes in length, 45 formations and echelons. Beginning with the infantry, war banners, ground equipment, and finally an aerial flyover. The Chinese Ministry of Defense has summarized the significance in 4 messages: loyalty to the party, commemoration of history, presentation of a new military structure, and demonstration of combat readiness. Unlike the previous parades, this one is not about showing off the performance of a single new weapon. It emphasized the integration, the combined formations, joint combat groups, and the systematic outcome for years of the military reform in China. Internationally, the message is equally clear. 26 heads of state gathered in Beijing. Among them, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un. They are the rock stars. For Vladimir Putin, this visit coincides with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin City, signal these deepening ties with China in both economy and security. For Kim, this marks the first time in over a decade that he attends such a major international event in China, underlying a new phase in Sino-North Korean ties. The timing is also quite deliberate, with tensions in the Taiwan Strait, the war in Ukraine, and conflicts in the Middle East. This parade is a public display of the People's Liberation Army's capacity and China's strategic posture. The United States Department of Defense, in its 2024 annual report, already noted that the Chinese military power in the several domains has already reached, or in some cases surpassed, the American counterparts. So what the Pentagon wrote in abstract terms has been visualized in real time on the Tiananmen Square. In a world marked by instability and contested orders, Beijing is reviving an old format to make a new point here, that it is able to exert pressure across multiple domains if it has to. This year, more than 60% of the equipment on display is either new or upgraded. It's a clear evidence that the People's Liberation Army has shifted from parading the standalone weapons to demonstrating its interconnected system with war-fighting capabilities. At the center stage of this display are the 5th-generation fighter jets, the J-20 stealth fighter, China's answer to the F-22. With its new WS-15 engines, this aircraft can achieve the thrust-to-weight ratios. In parallel, the 2-seater version, the J-20S, is well suited to the role of an airborne mission commander for the network-centric warfare. Together, they will extend China's stealth units from the inland bases to blue water decks. For the first time, the KJ-600 carrier-based early warning plan flies in formation. Think of this as a nervous system of China's next-generation carrier groups, with a radar reach of roughly 500 kilometers plus. It will close the critical gap in Beijing's ability to coordinate naval and aerial assets at long range. Then there's the Y-20 heavy transport, which embodies China's expanding mobility. With a maximum payload of 66 tons and a range of nearly 8,000 kilometers. It showcases Beijing's ability to project power far beyond its borders. And it has a tanker variant, the Y-20U, hints at even greater reach, allowing the fighter squadrons to sustain operations across theaters. On land, while we have seen these familiar main battle tanks like the 1998, the parade also introduced the new ones, like the modular rocket artillery systems. This is a sign that the PLA is transitioning toward a terrain adaptive and modular ground warfare formations. At the naval forefront stand the LY-1 laser weapon. It's making a public debut as a standout among the naval air defense systems. According to military experts, the L1Y laser weapon will offer game-changing advantage in naval defense. With its ample space for energy modules, it offers high power output and can engage the anti-ship missiles with precision and swiftness. The cost per intercept is also dramatically lower than conventional missile systems. It's rewriting the rules of engagement. Then comes the defining centerpiece, the backbone of China's strategic deterrence, the PLA rocket forces. Introducing the DF-5C, it's the most formidable member of China's strategic missile fleet. This silo-based, liquid-fueled ICBM will boast a global strike capacity, with an estimated range exceeding 20,000 kilometers, halfway around the Earth, placing virtually any target in this world within reach. It's been equipped with up to 10 warheads, each potentially weighing several megatons. The DF-5C is designed to penetrate and overwhelm the most advanced missile defense systems in the world. The new road-mobile DF-61 ICBM also has made its first public appearance, signaling the latest upgrade in the PLA rocket forces, its survivability and mobility. It has a range of around 15,000 kilometers, carrying multiple warheads each, bringing almost any corner of the globe within its capacity. There is also JL-3, the submarine-launched ballistic missile, China's third generation, boasting a range exceeding 9,000 kilometers with multiple warheads, fusing the underwater stealth with lethal effects. Adding to this nuclear and hypersonic family are the two pivotal weapons, the DF-26 Ground Buster, a dual-use IRBM boasting a range of 4,000 to 5,000 strike radius. It's now fitted with hypersonic maneuvering warheads. And the DF-17, a road-mobile medium-range unit armed with a hypersonic glide vehicle. It's capable of striking over 2,500 kilometers. Together, they underscore Beijing's push toward a highly mobile, precision strike missile grid designed for swift deterrence. Here too, China highlights the future, the unmanned combat systems, attack drones, making the leap toward artificial intelligence-assisted aerial combat. The high-altitude drones, already operational across multiple theaters, they are capable of conducting reconnaissance and assault missions. In parallel, there is HSU-100, the large underwater vehicles with 20 meters in length, unmanned as well. It's designed for deep-sea environment and are believed to be backed by the nuclear power with unlimited duration. Taken together, these displays, they reveal more than military pride, because they showcase a combat chain stretching from satellites and stealth jets to tanks and warships to missiles and drones. They operate as a coherent system. It's a system conceived for defense, yet also firmly anchored in operational flexibility. From the Taiwan Strait to the South China Sea, from regional skirmishes to nuclear deterrence. The parades in China have never been mere pageantry. Each one has served as a mirror of political intent and an indicator of national transformation. After nearly a quarter century of pause, this tradition was revived in 1984. On the 35th anniversary of the People's Republic, then the leader Deng Xiaoping has presided over a parade that marked more than military strength. It actually signaled China's return to the world stage. For the first time, television broadcasted the whole event nationwide, symbolizing this revival of the ritual and the country's racing toward a new era. And 15 years later, in 1999, Beijing set the record, a parade every decade. On the edge of the 2000, 11,000 troops filled the Tiananmen Square, while the Jiang Zemin revealed the forces. For the first time, the parade combined the flag raising, military review, and civilian processions into a single sequence. By 2009, the emphasis had evolved again. Hu Jintao, China's fourth-generation leader, oversaw a parade that showcased not just troops and tanks, but also the information-age capabilities, long-range missiles, radar systems, and early UAVs. It was a visual statement that the People's Liberation Army had left behind its old image of a 20th century army and has been adapting to the demands of a digital future. Then the 2019 parade, marking the 70th anniversary of the People's Republic, was the largest at the time. 15,000 troops, nearly 600 pieces of equipment, and more than 160 aircrafts. It went beyond scale, because for the first time the PLA showcased its joint operation system in full. Formations representing entire combat chains instead of just individual branches. It was a visual embodiment of military reform. It's a message that the era of segmented branches has given way to an integrated, theater-level warfare. Taken together, these parades, they trace more than military progress. They map out the evolution of China's statecraft, from Cold War messaging of political authority, to reform-era rituals of social unity, then to the 21st century demonstration of technology modernization. Each parade has bound the image of the People's Liberation Army to the spirit of its own times, reinforcing a national confidence that military power and political vision are advancing together, hand in hand. Behind the magnificent image of the parade lies an even more decisive transformation: the rise of China's defense industry. Over the past 4 decades, China has transformed its defense industry from a loose network of fragmented factories into a consolidated and coordinated system led by a handful of industrial giants. Today, 5 state-owned groups anchor such systems: AVIC in aviation, Norinco in land warfare, CASC and CASIC in space and missile systems, CETC in electronics, and CSSC in shipbuilding. Together, they construct the backbone of China's military-industrial base. It's an ecosystem that turned the country into the world's second-largest defense producer. First is the Aviation Industrial Corporation of China, or AVIC. It represents the centerpiece of the country's aerospace ambitions. Its history reflects the broader trajectory of China's industrial rise, beginning in the 1950s with Soviet support, then fragmented into multiple companies during the reform era, and then restructured in 2008 into a vertically integrated industrial giant. Today, AVIC employs more than 380,000 people and holds assets exceeding $160 billion. Its portfolio covers the full aviation chain: stealth fighters like J-20, transport platforms like the Y-20, the carrier-based aircraft including the KJ-600, as well as engines, avionics, and unmanned systems. Its sheer size makes it comparable to having Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon combined. AVIC's scale matters not only because it delivers advanced systems, it also integrates the subsystems, engines, sensors, avionics, ensuring that China's most critical air power assets are no longer hostage to foreign suppliers. In shipbuilding, the China State Shipbuilding Corporation, CSSC, commands nearly 70% of global market share, producing more than 54 million tons of new vessels annually. Following its merger with China Shipbuilding Industrial Corporation, the CSIC, in 2019, it became the largest shipbuilder in the world. And its dominance is not limited to scale. The CSSC, its unique strength, lies in the dual-use production capacity. The same shipyards that construct the commercial LNG carriers and container ships can be rapidly shifted to building destroyers, amphibious assault ships, and even aircraft carriers. This flexibility ensures that Beijing can sustain the high-volume commercial exports while retaining the ability to surge military output when needed. The results are quite shocking. Type 055 destroyer, which is Asia's most advanced surface combatant, and Fujian, China's first supercarrier. In the strategic domain, the China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation, CASC, and China Aerospace Science and Industrial Corporation, the CASIC, together they oversee the space and missile systems. Their output ranges from ICBMs, hypersonic glide vehicles (HGV), to satellites and command infrastructure. This space-to-ground synergy ensures that China's deterrence capabilities are supported by reconnaissance and communication networks, integrating the strike capacity with global surveillance. Then the China Electronics Technology Group, or CETC. It gives the PLA its edge in electronic warfare. Its work extends across radars, communication systems, and C4ISR platforms. With nearly 30% of its revenue tied to defense, the CETC underpins China's ambition in electronic warfare and information dominance. They are the domains that increasingly define the character of future conflicts. On land, Norinco, Northern Industrial Cooperation, is the indispensable supplier. It offers everything from 1998 main battle tank to long-range rocket artillery, and consistently ranks among the world's top 10 arms producers. Its stable revenues allows the People's Liberation Army, its modernization on the ground proceeds uninterrupted. Yet the most distinctive feature of China's defense industry lies less in the strength of individual corporations. It's more about the architecture that binds them together. Through the strategy of civil-military fusion, Beijing has blurred the line between defense and civilian industry. Shipyards that one day produce cruise liners can ship to making warships the other day. The civilian research institutes, which supply patents and innovations that are rapidly integrated into military projects. The profits from global commercial exports are reinvested into the expansion of China's strategy. This arrangement offers two advantages. In peacetime, the civilian orders will keep the production lines active and competitive. In wartime or crisis, these same lines can be converted at speed to military output. The result is a defense sector that is not only vast, but flexible, resilient, and globally connected. And the weapons may capture the eye, but the factories, the shipyards, and the research labs are what makes them possible. For decades, the Chinese army was organized around this military region system. These military regions, they cover wide areas, but were heavily weighted toward the land warfare, with little focus on joint operations. As the age of information warfare and rapid deployment, the limitations of this model becomes impossible to ignore. So at the end of 2015, there's a profound structural reform that was launched, aiming at reshaping the foundational architecture of the People's Liberation Army. In year 2016, the previous 7 military regions were dissolved, and they were replaced by 5 theater commands: Eastern, Southern, Western, Northern, and Central. Each theater command was assigned a clear mission. The Eastern Theater to guard the Taiwan Strait and East China Sea. The Southern to secure the South China Sea. The Western to manage border defense. The Northern to oversee Northeast Asia. And the Central to safeguard the capital and interior areas. This design represents a fundamental shift from territorial management to a dynamic and mission-driven command. And this was not just an exercise in redrawing the lines. It was a transformation in military thinking. The new structure elevates the rapid response and joint command over legacy boundaries, building a force that is prepared for real war. In 2015, the Central Military Commission established a reform office to coordinate across party and military. The 4 general departments, General Staff, General Political, General Logistics, and General Armaments were abolished. They were instead replaced by 15 streamlined organizations, including the Joint Staff Department, the Political Department, and the Equipment Development Department. So the result was a sharper command authority and more efficient execution. Under the theater command system, the daily administration remains with each branch of the services. But once the operational orders are issued, the theater commands, they will take the full authority over the Army, Navy, Air Force, Rocket Force, and the Strategic Support Force within their own jurisdictions. So this grants the commanders far greater flexibility to integrate resources and mobilize rapidly in wartime. Each theater now maintains a joint operations command center with dedicated capacity in intelligence, electronic warfare, logistics, and operational planning. These structural reforms also include a new force composition. Inside the Chinese Army, the Combined Arms Brigade replaced the traditional divisions and regiments, enhancing mobility and cross-theater deployment. The US DoD recognized 78 such brigades across the force, divided into heavy, medium, and light variants. A heavy Combined Arms Brigade fields more organic maneuver, fires, and air defense than a single US Army Brigade combat team. And the typical layout includes the mechanized maneuver, mechanized infantry, and reconnaissance, artillery, and rockets, long-range anti-tank missiles, and air defense. The RAND Corporation have described this as a critical step toward building a systematic war-fighting capacities. The reform did not remain on paper. It was also stress-tested in live exercises across theaters. By 2024, joint training and combat readiness had become guiding principles of the Chinese Army. The Western theater conducted border drills and joint patrols. The Southern focused on island landings and firepower blockades. The Central rehearsed the capital defense and airborne maneuvers. The Eastern has staged integrated sea and air operations. Each scenario tested the speed and the coordination of a new theater command system. Doctrine-wise, the PLA has moved to embrace the joint operations under informationalized conditions. The C4ISR, command, control, communications, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, which are all essential to a combat loop, linking information, decision, and strike orders. The reforms gave China sharper situational awareness, real-time coordination, and the ability to act decisively in crisis. These changes were also political. Alongside the structural shifts came the anti-corruption campaigns, tighter discipline, and the ideological consolidation within the army. These are the moves that are designed to reinforce both public trust and public control. Western academia have also taken note. The US military has this joint war-fighting concept, which focuses on regional command, rapid coordination, and information dominance as keys to the future warfare. The PLA's reforms are parallel to these ideas, creating a structure that complicates adversaries' deterrence calculus and strengthens China's ability to project influence. The ultimate goals are tied to a clear timeline. By 2027, the 100th anniversary of the People's Liberation Army, China will achieve qualitative leaps in deterrence and power projection. So the theater command reforms are the institutional vehicle for that ambition, enabling faster response, higher efficiency, and greater resilience in the face of crisis. The modernization of the People's Liberation Army isn't mere rhetoric. It's a national roadmap with precise timeframes. The strategy is a three-step journey. By 2027, we'll achieve the ability to fight and win regional wars. By 2035, complete the modernization of the armed forces with system-wide capacities. And by 2049, on the 100th anniversary of the People's Republic, we will build a world-class military. Intelligentization sits at the heart of this trajectory. China is moving from informationalized warfare towards intelligentized warfare, where the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and quantum computing will drive the command, reconnaissance, and electronic warfare. The focus is on multi-domain precision operations, linking satellites, unmanned systems, and automated decision-making into an integrated combat network. So the future is already happening. Beidou satellites, electronic countermeasures, large drone platforms, new generation warships, and strategic missile forces are all being deployed at speed. By 2024, the Chinese Navy already counted over 370 vessels, with planning to expand to nearly 475 by 2035. And many of these ships are entirely new designs, refreshed at a pace unmatched by any other counterpart. In nuclear strategy, the US assessments project that by 2030, China will field more than 1,000 nuclear warheads, and rising further by 2035. Equally important is the integration of civilian technology. Artificial intelligence is being woven into unmanned aerial, surface, and underwater vehicles, smart munitions, and automated command systems. This will reflect the broader model of civil-military fusion, where civilian innovation feeds directly into military applications, empowering the PLA to leapfrog across technical domains. Chinese officials stress that this modernization is not about pursuing hegemony. Instead, it's about safeguarding sovereignty, securing national development, and contributing to regional stability and global security. Its world-class military will act as the guarantor of peace, an armored power aligned with the notion of common prosperity. This framing is also reinforced by China's diplomacy in action. At multilateral forums, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, ASEAN summits, and the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, China blends its modernization achievements with the discourse of peaceful development. The message is that the strength and stability can coexist, and the Chinese power can underwrite cooperation, not conflicts. Geopolitically, the implications are also immediate. In the Taiwan Strait, China is able to deploy joint formations of ships, submarines, and aircrafts to signal the readiness for real conflict. Beyond the first island chain, it is working to overcome the Malacca dilemma by expanding into the Indian Ocean with ports, logistics bases, and blue water task forces. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the Gwadar port, and facilities across Indian Ocean form a maritime string of pearls, coupling military reach with economic strategy. This expanding presence also stretches into the Middle East and Africa. Joint exercises with Russia and Iran reflect a deliberate effort to link Asia, the Indian Ocean, and the Middle East into a connected security sphere. So China's message is clear: peace is not passive. It's only backed by capacity, shaped by diplomacy, and sustained by industrial power. So the parade itself is impressive, but the real story lies in how China intends to align power with purpose in the decades ahead.